In the Sintern, a young woman investigates a church who may have been involved with her mother's disappearance or even death. Taking things further, to summarize the film, due to her mom having some issues, especially with addiction, Verity unfortunately was raised in foster care and she wasn't adopted by the time she was 18. Now, while she was in foster care, she did meet a woman named Ruby. Well, woman now, she was her age when they were in foster care. And also, Rarity has met a man named Sam. Now, while Ruby presents some kind of safety net, a sisterhood, if you will, Sam is Rarity's boyfriend, and because of his issues, he has gotten her involved in being in debt with loan sharks. But all that drama is set aside when Monica, Verity's mom, calls her suddenly from a payphone, sounds very distraught, and everything that perhaps was going on with her mom leads to things being pointed at a man named Dean Humphreys, who is a pastor. So, with a slew of questions and this church being filled with a lot of people who aren't really much for opening up to strangers, Verity decides to pretend to be an intern for their social media since they're about to go global online, and she does her best to uncover the mystery of not only what happened to her mom, but what Mr. Humphreys may have been doing to other women like her mom who are in a very vulnerable position. So getting to the review portion, the first highlight for us is a gentleman named Gabe's music, and that's because when it comes to Gage, he might be doing gospel, but he's not doing hymn gospel. He's doing gospel it's a bit catchy, it's a bit soulful, sort of like Lauren Daigle, or maybe even a little bit of Flyleaf if you're into them. So while I wouldn't say you're about to quickly download the soundtrack, at the same time, you can at least get into the music enough to understand why this church is popular, even though when it comes to Pastor Humphreys, he doesn't really present anything notable with his sermons. Setting that aside though, when it comes to Verity's quest for vengeance, is it the best thing you've ever seen, even when you put it to the level of Tubi releases? No. But you can admire the passion involved, and you can also admire that even though some people seem like they could be good guys when it comes to the church, and maybe they don't know what's going on with Pastor Humphreys and what he's doing to young women, at the same time, there's also that feeling that maybe everybody does know, is just covering it up, and some people are better at doing it than others. And just that sort of uncertainty about who may be somebody that is a good person, a bad person, maybe live in a gray because they're part of a vulnerable population, so they don't feel like they should speak up, or else they may have been part of something, but only because it was for their own safety and security. That helps drive the film and keep it from feeling rather generic or else not as good as it could have been. But with that said, as we noted in the summary, when it comes to Sam, his whole loan shark storyline and how that's going to lead to issues for him and Verity, that gets completely dropped. It's one of those things where strangely it's an issue that you think is going to pop its head out, especially as Sam presents the idea that these loan sharks are going to attack Ruby, they may attack the church or whatever, but even at the end of the movie, spoiler, nothing comes of it. It's one of those plot holes that you're just left wondering, so was that not supposed to be important? Was that just filler, or maybe a plot that was cut because it wasn't working, but you didn't have enough time to perhaps shoot a few scenes to quickly eliminate it? It's hard to say. But overall, even though there is a plot hole with the whole Sam thing, I will admit between the music that Gage presents, Rarity's quest for vengeance, answers, however you want to put it, Tubi is definitely the type. Tubi. The Sintern is definitely a Tubi release worth checking out, especially if you want to watch something for free.